This is the daily chart review. I cover how the S&P futures market traded for the day. I go over my morning technical analysis and how my scalp calls performed. I usually add hints and tips for trading the levels I provide in the morning video. Subscribe and get notified when I post my morning levels and analysis. They are accurate levels that you can review in previous videos and judge for yourself. Welcome to this evening's chart review. This is for 5/13/2019. I just wanted to show you real quick that what I teach in the futures market can apply to stocks also. This is Uber. I made this call to my friend this morning when I saw this was trading down. I said, hey, the bounce is going to be right at 37. And the reason I got that was the same way that I show in all the other videos. I used this entire range right here. Knew that it was going to drop 100%. It dropped right down to 37 and made the bounce. Bounced about $2, and surprisingly, that's 50% of this drop right here. It was perfectly symmetrical play, and I just wanted to kind of share that with you. That what we learn here on the futures market can apply on the stocks. So I had a pretty good day today. I had one bad trade, which lost me $16.25. But other than that, I had 11 winning trades and basically a 91% success rate here. So the levels were really kind of hitting for me today, and let's go over the rest of it. So on the weekly, I kind of had this arrow here early this morning, kind of pointing to my level, and I didn't move it. It looks like it's part of this candle at this point, but I'm looking for this little level right here, with this big old volume spike that kind of matches across both places in the weekly, and then a bounce off of that. And certainly didn't expect to get here on a Monday, but we may be here, and the pressure may continue, or we may actually get the bounce that I'm looking for at this point. We completely exceeded the range today. That's not uncommon. I again was pointing out all these levels down here, and we'll take a look and show that these were the bottom of my scalp levels that I provided today. But just wanted to show that hey, we bounced off the top of this, and now we've pretty much traded down into the bottom of this large volume node. I covered this pretty much in every video. The first bounce is across the top of the volume node, and then the next bounce is basically the bottom of the node. So I'm looking for something to bounce here and go. It did bounce a little bit intraday, but not what I'm expecting at this point. Volatility is creeping up, and volume was great today. So on the 240 chart, you can really see that, hey, we just about nicked the very bottom line right there. We did nick the previous level where this yellow line is actually sitting at this point. And a lot of the other levels were real close with the trades, and we'll see that on the intraday. 60-minute. So I kind of shown you the level here where I basically drew from the top to the bottom, got this 50% level. We basically dropped through that today, and I had shown you earlier that this bisected right here was looking really good, and if you kind of move this down, you can definitely see that. Oh, I just did it again. You can definitely see that it's trading in that little range right there, and now we're under it. So 27.90, a little bit on the other side of this volume node. I think we'll go visit that at this point. Intraday. So 7:30 was right here. Oh, I got a line here. Delete that guy. So this is where we started. We traded up into my first level right here. Did some bouncing and then fell away right into this level. we went across pretty much two levels. We did get a bounce right here, almost at the second level, back up, traded back down, so the levels were working really good for me, as far as the bounces and the scalp trades were going. It basically finally worked its way all the way down into the, before the second line, and there were some great trades off of the, off of the first touch of this line right here. Same thing here, you got a decent one, but if you would have held on, it took off, and eventually you could have made it two levels up here. I think I actually held one quite a bit through here, if I remember correctly. Only up to the top of the node, so there was quite a bit of volume through here that was trading. You can see the shelf over here that was created. You see this node right here. So when it kind of got underneath all these volume nodes, it was really having a hard time. Something important to really look at here is the delta across the bottom right here. Look at, we had a very positive delta for the day. While the stocks were still moving down, you basically had a divergence between price and delta for most of the day. And what that says is that institutions which use limit orders was basically killing this thing during the day, and somebody was buying hard but just could not lift it from the institutions. So the thought process is that the CTAs are now deleveraging, and they're the people that are basically selling into this in order to take off some of their profits and reduce their risk at this point. Never not got the big rebound that's happened the last few days, so it's pretty negative at this point. For more downside, they might try and pop it up. If if I was the plunge protection team, the PPT, definitely need to get over this level right here by morning in order to give yourself a chance of looking positive, because right now there's a lot of volume right in this area, and if it breaks to the downside, all the buying that happened right here, it's got to come out of the market. If you go to the upside, I don't think you have quite the same effect, because people used limit orders to basically hold this thing down. Anything I can really kind of point to, you can see the cluster nodes were working. You traded up right into the cluster node, traded back off. It was perfectly in line with my lines here. Traded down, your first bounce right here. First bounce right here, or first bounce right here, depending on how you look at it. Was across the top of this node, and then eventually we basically traded all the way down to the bottom, and we were just basically walking ourselves all the way through. And once we hit the bottom, we got that really nice bounce out of it right there. First test of it, good bounce. There was another good test of the top right here, pretty decent bounce, but when it didn't carry on, and broke the level, you knew you were pretty much going lower at that point. This was the spot, and this is a classic kind of reversal pattern where you only get a bar or two, and then it takes off right here. So I was actually looking for it just to continue right here, but they were buying it, but somebody was crushing it, so it just couldn't quite get to go. And you can see it couldn't even quite make it back to where the high volume was on this little node right here. Just couldn't quite make it back. Perfect touch of my trend line for a scalp down to the bottom side. If you took that, I always recommend, if it comes down, touches the line, and goes back and hits it, and you're in a downtrend, those are usually pretty good trades. When you take off and the opposite side. We built quite a bit of volume right here. We were able to trade up. We made a test on the top of it, so it really looked really positive. We took off, strong bounce, so we got a good upside move of 2 levels here. We basically hit the tops up here. We finally hit that high volume node. The high volume node up here at the top reversed this guy, and basically just a little bit of weakness. Everybody had fear at this point. Look how tight this range is. That looks like a tight grind to me, and basically everybody evacuated their positions in a hurry. They had fear after all of this, right? And then basically same thing. You came down to this bottom node, and whoever was pumping this up basically really kind of fought it right here, and finally got it to go. Breaks the level. This was some of the most active trading that I saw today, right through this area, and it finally got beat back down. You can see that it went back down to the high volume node right on our line. Perfect long scalp here. This is what I talk about, right? It goes up, meets the level, finally comes back to the level where it broke out, and it's a good trade to go the other way. You can see it on this way going down, comes back to the line, and then it just blows through and gives you a couple levels right there. Those are good trades if you can catch them, right? This one didn't really move far enough, even though it came back to the line and sold. It just wasn't a really good trade at that point. Trying to look at anything else that kind of stands out. You built a pretty good volume node right here. This one kind of came back. You can kind of see the level right here, never reached it, and took off again. And you got pretty much an overlapping node right here and an overlapping node here. That's not good. You want to see at least the nodes build up above the previous nodes, and more than likely you want it to kind of move up and away over the node and then build before it comes back to test it. And now we're just, we traded down and popping back up at this point. But again, the delta, at 8,000 strong from a low of 11,000. So there's 20,000, buy contracts in this down move. Not looking good for bulls right at this moment, is my opinion. So you've got a volume node right here, right? Look how well this is. We may trade up into this little area right here and kind of fill out this gap, because this looks like a fairly mature volume node. So I'm looking this, and this is the top of the range, and I think I kind of talked about, they need to get, the PBT needs to get up above this level, right, in order to get some people on board at this point. You've got a lot of volume nodes up here. You've got this sitting right here along with this, and then you've got this right here. These don't look particularly strong. We kind of fell through here, so we start to get up above 2838, 2848. I think you could get some good momentum, and it, ease of movement may be to the upside at that point. So keep that in mind for tomorrow if we get some movement there. This morning I showed you, I drew out, I think, this swing right here. Moved that down. I noticed that there was basically 50% levels within the levels. I keep on doing that. And so I started to draw those in, and you can see how well they kind of worked with a lot of the levels here. Nice symmetry, if you ask me. A lot of touches right on the lines. A lot of trades to happen back and forth in these particular areas. So at some point I need to go over support and resistance. in a separate video at some point, there are some tips that really can improve your when to take the trade as far as support and resistance goes. But I need to kind of explain it. Hope you did well today, and I will see you in the morning.